Hello students. Today we will discuss about the allotropes of carbon. But before we discuss the allotropes of carbon, first of all we will take an idea about the term allotropy and how can we define the allotropes of any element. So first of all we will take an idea about the term allotropy. Allotropy is defined as the property by virtue of which an element can exist in more than one form which shows different physical properties and same chemical properties. So, the different forms of one element with same chemical properties, which I am going to write as C dot P, and different physical properties are defined as allotropes, and the property by virtue of which an element is showing the different kinds of allotropes is defined as allotropy. Except carbon, we are having two more important elements which shows the property of allotropy. That one is sulfur and phosphorus. Sulfur exists in three important allotropic forms. The name of these allotropes are monoclinic sulfur. The next allotrope of sulfur is rhombic sulfur. And the third one is plastic sulfur. These allotropes of sulfur are also known as alpha sulfur for rhombic, monoclinic sulfur is known as beta form of sulfur, and plastic sulfur is known as gamma sulfur. Well, the important allotrope of phosphorus are the phosphorus exists in two main important allotropic form. The names are red phosphorus and the second one is white phosphorus. But in this chapter we will deeply discuss only the allotropes of carbon. So now we will start the allotropes of carbon. Since carbon shows a large number of allotropes, so these allotropes before studying these allotropes we will firstly study the classification of these allotropes. Allotropes of carbon can be further classified in two categories on the basis of arrangement of carbon atoms. These two forms are known as crystalline allotropes of carbon and the second one is non-crystalline allotrope of carbon. This is on the basis of arrangement of carbon atom. If the carbon atom shows a regular arrangement in the crystal, then these allotropes are known as crystalline allotrope, while the allotrope in which the carbon atom shows an irregular arrangement, then these allotropes are known as non-crystalline or amorphous allotrope of carbon. We are having three important allotropes as the example of crystalline allotrope. They are diamond. The next crystalline allotrope of carbon is graphite, and the last recently discovered allotrope of carbon is fullerene. And the last recently discovered allotrope of carbon is fullerene. While the example of non-crystalline amorphous allotrope of carbon are charcoal, the next one is coal, the third one is coke, and the last non-crystalline allotrope of carbon is lamp-black. In this chapter, we will deeply discuss only the crystalline allotropes of carbon. So, we will start with the first crystalline allotrope of carbon, that's diamond. Diamond. This term is taken from a Greek word which has the meaning unbreakable, because diamond is known as the hardest natural known substance. So, this Greek word indicates all its properties clearly. Diamond word is derived from a Greek word. If I am to represent the formula of diamond, then the formula of diamond is given as Cn, where C is the symbol for carbon atom and N represents the number of carbon atom, which depends on the size of crystal. For a larger crystal, the number of carbon atoms will be greater. If we talk about the color of diamond crystal, then diamond crystals are generally transparent in color, but sometimes the different colors are seen in the crystals of diamond. This indicates the presence of another elements, such as if blue color is seen in the crystals of diamond, this indicates the presence of boron element in the crystal of carbon, and the yellow color indicates the presence of nitrogen element. So, after the brief discussion of diamond, now we will deal with the structure of diamond. Diamond crystals exist in the octahedral form. In nature, it is found in the octahedral geometry. And if we talk about these octahedral crystals, so these octahedral crystals are formed by the regular arrangement of tetrahedral units of carbon atom. In this octahedral crystal, carbon atoms are linked with another 4 carbon atoms in a tetrahedral manner, which can be shown by this kind of diagram. If we take one carbon atom in the plane, then the next carbon atom is attached with this carbon atom above the plane, and the rest 3 carbon atoms will be placed below the plane, which can be shown by these. If we connect these carbon atoms with each other, then they will form a tetrahedron crystal. In this tetrahedron crystal, the center carbon atom is connected with all 4 carbon atoms by the covalent force of attraction, and the bond angle between these carbon atoms is 109 degree 28 minutes. These tetrahedral units arrange themselves in a tight manner to form an octahedral crystal of diamond. Due to this specific kind of arrangement and this strong covalent force of attraction, the diamond is hardest natural known substance. So now we will deal after the structure. Now we will deal with the properties of diamond. As we have said, the diamond crystal exists in octahedral shape. So this one is the first property of this. It exists in octahedral shape. The second one, diamond, due to its specific arrangement, its hardest natural known substance. It is naturally known hardest substance. And this is the reason why we use the diamond for cutting and drilling rocks. The third one is, since we all know the diamond has very important use in the field of jewelry due to its high refractive index. The diamond has a very high refractive index, and the value is approx 2.5. Due to this high refractive index, it refracts light, and this is the reason why we use the diamond in jewelry, and it has high lustrosity. The fourth one is, diamond has very high density. If I represent the high density in the term of specific gravity, then the value of specific gravity for diamond is approx 3.5. Next one is, diamond is colorless, transparent. It exists as a brittle solid state. Diamond crystals are transparent in nature. Diamond has extraordinary sensitivity to the heat radiation. It's sensitive to heat radiation, and this is the reason why diamond crystals are used to make high precision thermometers. The next one is diamond is the bad conductor of electricity. It's bad conductor of electricity, and this can be explained on the basis of its structure, since we have seen in the structure that all the 4 valence electron of carbon is used by the central carbon atom for the covalent bond formation. So in the crystal of diamond, no any free electron is left for the conduction of electricity, and this is the reason why diamond is the bad conductor of electricity and cannot be used as for the formation of electrodes. Now we will deal with the next allotrope of carbon, that's graphite. So the second crystalline allotrope is graphite. This word is again generated from a Greek word, and the Greek word is graphene. The meaning of graphene is to draw or to write, since graphite is used for the writing purpose as the pencil lead. So this word is used for graphite. If I am to represent the graphite by its formula, then the formula is Cn, where N is the number of carbon atoms. If we talk about the color of graphite, then graphite exists in black or bluish grey color with a metallic luster. So the general color is black or bluish grey. If we talk about the structure of graphite, so now we will deal with the structure of graphite. Graphite exists in nature in the hexagonal layers form. In this hexagonal layers, carbon atoms is attached with another 3 carbon atom to form a layer-like structure. This thing we can see by the diagram. If we take this carbon atom as the center atom, so in the molecule of graphite, this will be attached with another 3 carbon atom by the formation of covalent bond. And after all, it forms the hexagonal layer structure where the corner of these hexagonal are going to represent the existence of carbon atom. In this hexagonal layer, all the carbon atoms are attached with each other by the covalent bond formation. If we talk about the central carbon atom, so since we can see that this is attached with another 3 carbon atoms by the covalent bond formation, so every carbon atom has one free valence electron which does not participate in the bond formation, and due to this free valence electron, graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Between the layers of these graphite, a different force exists, and this force again indicates different properties of graphite. Between the layers of graphite, a weak force of attraction exists. This force of attraction is defined as the van der Waals force of attraction. This force is called van der Waals force of attraction. And due to this weak van der Waals force of attraction, these layers can slide over each other, and this is the reason why graphite is used as the lubricant. So now we will deal with the properties of graphite. Next part is properties of graphite. The first one is graphite occurs naturally in the form of hexagonal layers. These hexagonal layers can slide over each other due to weak van der Waals force of attraction, and this is the reason why graphite is used as lubricant. Why graphite is used as the lubricant. The third one is, in graphite, every carbon atom has one free valence electron, and this free valence electron is responsible for the conduction of electricity. So graphite is known as a good conductor of electricity. And this is the reason why we use graphite for the formation of electrodes in batteries and electrical furnace. Graphite has very high melting point, and this is the reason why graphite is used in the metallurgical process to heat another elements or another compounds. Graphite has very high specific gravity, and the value is 2.25. Graphite has high specific gravity. The value is approx 2.25. Graphite is heated at a very high temperature, at a very high pressure. Graphite is heated at the pressure approx 50,000 and the temperature between 1600 to 1700 degrees centigrade, and after this graphite is converted into diamond. These diamonds which are formed by graphite are known as artificial diamonds. So these are the properties and uses of graphite. Now we will deal with the last crystalline allotrope of carbon, that's fulvene. Fulvene is the most recently discovered allotrope of carbon, which was discovered in 1985 by 3 scientists named as Robert Kurl, Gerard Kroto and Richard Smalley. Fulvene exists in different forms, but the most recently discovered form about which we have studied a lot is C60. This contains 60 carbon atom. This form is also known as Buckminster fulvene, and this can be explained on the basis of its structure. If we talk about the structure of fulvene, so it exists in a football-like structure which contains 20 hexagonal rings and 12 pentagonal rings, and these rings attach with each other to form a football-like structure which resembles with a geodesic dome architected by Buckminster Fuller. So this C60 molecule is also known as Buckminster fulvene. Since fulvene is the most recently discovered allotrope, so its properties is not too much studied, and it is not too much widely used such as other allotropes of carbon. It is hoped that near future it can be used as the superconductor, semiconductor or lubricant, but we do not have too much study about the molecule of fulvene. The next part we will deal with the compounds of carbon.